So Fetter work is just a way to non-identify in lots of different areas. The metaphor that I'm having in my head when I think about Fetter work is that you have a huge house and the front door of the house, that is the non-identification. That's like the main theme of everything we talk about. It's non-identification. It's realizing that there is no I to identify with. There's nothing happening to identify with either. And that doesn't mean that there is or there's not. It's in the middle between there, which is super, super complicated to understand. But when we get to the sixth fetter, I promise I'm gonna unravel that one completely for you. So if you imagine this big house that has hundreds of rooms, and you have entered, you're now in the hall, and there are lots of rooms. Some of the rooms are adjoining rooms, and some of the rooms lead to rooms that you've been in previously. That's kind of how we are as human beings. That there's some things that we very easily can talk about. Those are the rooms that maybe haven't even got a door that you can just enter into the room, and you've been in every single corner and know exactly what is where in the room. Everything is placed, you looked at everything. But then there's some rooms that you haven't been into, some rooms that you don't want to go into, some rooms that you know that the room is there, you know the issue is there, but you don't want to look at it, you don't want to go into it. And what some non-duality people do, which I completely understand, it's just completely dismissing and saying there's no house, there's no room, there's no I don't even need to look at it. But that's gaslighting. And the first thing I would like to talk about, how to deal with childhood trauma, because pretending that there is no I, so there's no trauma, it's true, but it's not helpful. It's not helpful at all. If you have issues in your life, something happened and you experienced what happened, on that you created an assumption. If it was childhood traumas, then we have created a lot of assumptions about things that made sense when our brain wasn't fully developed. And with an adult brain, it doesn't make any sense at all. Why that could be, fill up so much. Okay, yeah, so Peter stole all my yellow beads when I was sitting and doing a necklace, and now I have insecurities. It makes no sense whatsoever. But it's because that the brain wasn't fully developed, and we need to create space for that. That just because it doesn't seem like much now does not mean that it wasn't a lot at that point. And that's the first thing about trauma. That a lot of rooms we do not enter because we feel it with the emotions that we had, with the emotional capability that we had at the time when Peter stole my yellow beads, And because it feels like so much, I'm not even going into the room. It also means that when we work with the metaphorically rooms that you're entering, that you acknowledge there's an issue, you open the door into it, and by opening the door into it, you're accepting that it's there, but you do not do anything else. You don't need to do anything at all. Just acknowledging that it's there, opening the door into, okay, it's about insecurities. Okay, it's about I was bullied in school. It's about my eating disorder. It's about whatever is bigger. You just acknowledge and accept that it's there. And I would recommend you to write it down, everything that comes up. And I would like for you to write it down where you don't add any judgment to what you're writing down. You just allow it to be there. Create space for it to be there. Acknowledge that it's there, accept that it's there, write it down, and don't do anything else. Don't intellectualize it. Don't start with there is no me, so there's no issue. Don't do that. There's been enough of that. It needs to end.